Now, I give you some names and you tell me what you think about.
Sure.
Top catch.
Possible new kid on the block. It's being headed by the first female promoter, so heads are turning. And I like making a few waves, so let's see what happens.
Okay. Bad Bones.
That was my first opponent here in Germany. He owes me a rematch.
Okay. Lexxus.
I'll know for sure when I get in the ring with him.
Okay. The Boogeyman.
You're welcome, Vince. I'm saying this on record. You're welcome. And the only way he's going to get that darn gimmick, he got it from me, from what I understand. You're welcome. And I'm not even asking for royalties, but you're welcome. I know how plagiaristic the business can be. Also, another good reason why I stopped wearing the face paint.
Okay.
I have to grow up sooner or later.
Now I have a guy called Harold Reddick III.
Actually, Junior, if there's a third, then I'd like to know how that happened. But, no, I'm not going on record because, as you all know, for the last, 6 or 7 years, I've written a column called The Other Side of the Ropes. And for the first 5 years, I've actually used my real name until I actually decided to mention the fact that it was supposed to be a column written by a wrestler or someone else who has been actually on the other side of the ropes. And I was writing from the perspective, from the perception of a professional wrestler. And when I turned around, I got the idea actually from Mike Quackenbush, because he writes for Pro Wrestling Illustrated and The Wrestler, and he actually uses his real name. And anybody in the know actually realizes Mike Spillane and Quackenbush are one and the same. So I turned around and said, well, you know what? At this particular point, it probably doesn't matter anymore. So I decided to start using my use my real name and just turn around and said, okay, anybody else that knows who I am. But yes, Harold Reddick Jr. and Shaka is one and the same. But think about it. Does it seem like this would be the type of sport? And I meant to ask this question in my first match, because they pretty much put my real name out in the commentary right after ripping me apart. Does it make sense to have a guy looking the way I do, coming into the ring, using his real name, or that's why they invented ring names? So, and no, I did not make up the name Shaka. Somebody gave that to me when I was wrestling, so just for the record, just letting you know now. But does it make sense? That's why you have ring names. I mean, everybody can sit up there and look at the bigger names and find their real names online. I did that when I broke in, but I won't be called dead referring to them by their first names unless I know them that way, which I do not. So guess what's going to happen? Bingo.
Okay.
That's called respect, ladies and gentlemen.
The last name, Wrestling Junkies.
You guys have been, I'd say, one of the most outspoken voices online for wrestling and the wrestling scene in Germany here. And I'm actually glad. I'm very, very happy to be a part of the the whole experience. I'm also an honor member, but I get a big kick out of going online and looking up all the other stuff. And I look forward to all the guys, the Wrestling Junkie members, asking the Q&A questions. And if you guys notice, I try to throw in a little bit of my input. Here's some real grappling. I occasionally put in a few training videos of some of the other grappling guys nobody heard of, which I did last month. Like guys like Marcelo Garcia, that's the master of the X-Guard. Got MNR, they call him the King of Leg Locks in MMA. Shinya Aoki, they call him the Baka Survivor. Very, very sick game that guy has. You might see more in there. And recently I put in some of my own personal footage from my training. So everybody who knows, I mentioned this a couple of years ago of my own training. Yes, there is actual evidence now on WrestlingJunkies.de. So just look up Shaka's World. You will find training footage. So I put my money where my mouth is. So anybody that's questioning, it is there. Not kidding. So anything I say is very much legit. You'll also probably see, if I ever get around to typing it up, another edition of The Other Side of Ropes. If not, you might see another incarnation of that. I'm not going to say how. I'm not going to say how. I'm not going to give it away. You might also see some pro wrestling matches. You might also see Joshi matches. If not, well, I'm still digging, so bear with me, guys. But once again, WrestlingJunkies.de, you guys have done a tremendous job for the wrestling scene here. Like I said, I'm glad to be a part of the experience. I really do. I mean, you guys are awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. At the last, you have the chance to say some words to your fans.
Well, we're back home in Germany. I have to go back in another day, but I'll be back in a few more months. Yes, Bernd is right. I am a crazy guy, but don't be fooled. You get me in the ring, you won't see silly, you see deadly. If I'm smiling, that's because I'm about to kill somebody. But in a few more months, I'll be back home, but just watch for it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bernd. It was a pleasure.